One of my friends is going through a breakup, and this girl he was dating, I don't understand why he was with her. I met her once and I wasn't too happy about what I experienced. Regardless, this breakup is hurting him. And he made a complaint to me that I thought was kind of interesting because I read an article about this a while ago. I was able to find it again for this video. Women are more likely than men to share negative information, study finds. The published study is about 17 pages long. It's a series of 3 studies published at once. It was published in January 2024. So this wasn't long, it was about a year ago. I did read it. It is a lot of information, but basically the study focuses on gender differences and how both men and women share personal information about their lives or about others. The research revealed that while men and women both equally share positive experiences, women are more likely than men to share negative information about themselves or others. And it also mentioned why this is the case. The first study involved 195 people. In this study, 91% of women, in comparison to 76% of men, reported in a survey they felt more inclined to report negative experiences. And it mentions something specifically interesting that I may want to get back to later in this video. And maybe some of this applies to you, okay? If you feel this relates to you, I mean, listen, male or female watching this. It mentions that the men who participated in this often were motivated to share negative information only in a desire to entertain or receive validation. And rather, women were more motivated to share negative information because they were hoping to receive comfort. The second study involved 547 people. Average age was 50, 287 women. These same individuals did not participate in the first study. Okay, so this is brand new people here. They made these individuals read 17 scenarios, positive and negative. And based on the findings, men are less likely than women to share the details of the negative scenario. The men were more inclined to just not talk about it or acknowledge it. And then the third study involved 405 people who also, these people, brand new, did not participate in the other studies. This study was a bit similar, where they read scenarios that pertained to themselves or other people. And they were given follow-up questions on their desire and likelihood to disclose that information they read about other people or themselves. Now, this study didn't really find much gender difference. Both men and women were less willing to share negative information about themselves versus sharing about other people, meaning people would rather say negative things about others than themselves. So, putting these 3 studies together, it was found that, in summary, men are less likely and have a lower desire to share negative information. But both men and women, if they do share negative information, both men and women, they rather do it about someone else than themselves. However, the study highlights a gender difference where women have a stronger desire to talk negative about something else or somebody else, right? So why even talk about this, right? Going back to my friend, he made a complaint about his now ex, and he said she was extremely negative all the time. Now, may I dare say, in my experience, I've also found myself in a position consistently, romantically or not, where there is a lot more negativity coming from a female. Now, the reason why I brought up this study is because it mentioned about how women tend to do this because they want to receive comfort. It's not necessarily like doing it just to do it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women need comfort. I think that's fair to say, right? And I'll be honest, a lot of men can't handle that. I can't handle it all the time. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe I'm not good at offering comfort. My friends think otherwise, but I guess some women don't think so. But I've got to be real because I know I may be insensitive or not be the best beacon of support or comfort. Sometimes that constant negativity, though, or the endless need of comfort and the way it's expressed to me feels draining. Honestly, it's like vampiric. You ever get on the phone with someone and they're unloading all this negativity? You hang up and now you're feeling down, even though you were just perfectly happy 10 minutes ago. It's like they've yanked the life out of you. leaving you with the heavy sadness that wasn't even yours to begin with. Perhaps I need to learn how to comfort people without it affecting my own personal emotions. Perhaps I need to learn that. Oftentimes, though, when people come to me for support, I don't, not really phased. So, but again, I guess women don't think so with Aku. It's different when your friend is letting off steam than your girlfriend or a female you're emotionally vulnerable with is doing the same, right? For people who have experienced it. Am I lying here? The energy is way different. At least to me, at times one feels draining, the other one doesn't. And Joe, cause I know this is gonna, some people are gonna take this the wrong way when I'm saying in this video. Don't get mad at me and start thinking I have something against women here. I didn't publish the study or propose the experiment. This is something I did during my free time, all right? I didn't write the article either. But when people say, when people say, you got to learn how to understand women, I think this is what they mean. Because sometimes I can't wrap my head around this. My recent ex was extremely negative, incredibly negative. There was always some kind of problem with her. Yet she swore up and down she wasn't a negative person. Every time she said that, it blew my mind. I was like, I couldn't help but think, you say you're not a negative person? Is she trolling me? Is this like, is she seriously lacking self-awareness? Is she hysterical right now? Because I just don't understand, because to me, it was very obvious she was negative all the time, very often at least. And this isn't my first time I've experienced something like this, where someone claims to be positive, yet everything they do or say is soaked in negativity. The OGs of the Aku anime probably remember this. I used to make a joke on this channel in older videos about how people who be doing this #positivity and all that super smiley face, posting positive quotes all day on Twitter or Facebook or something, motivational videos, y'all, all day and night. I'm not hating on the fact that you're trying to spread it, but listen, these people, the people who be doing that #positivity stuff, these people are always the most negative. I've seen it with spirituality too, right? Some people, they find this like outlets to just cope with their negativity. Like, oh, these crystals, they give me positive vibes. That's why I bought these $30 crystals from Amazon. Like, yet their attitude is anything but positive. Maybe you really need the crystals to work. Okay, let's talk about that one, because clearly it's not working. It's the same with people who smoke too. They get high. They think they're all chill and laid back. But in reality, they're paranoid, snappy, or just plain irritable. Just because they feel relaxed doesn't mean their demeanor or actions reflect that. It's wild how self-perception can really be out of sync with reality because of this. Because you're high, right? You start to wonder, do these people genuinely believe they're radiating positivity? Or are they just trying to convince themselves? That's what I mean about people finding outlets to do this, because from the outside looking in, the energy they're putting out doesn't match what they're claiming at all. It's like a disconnect between what they think they are and how they actually come across. And like with that ex, I remember I told her, like, listen, you always got some negative energy going on. You're always negative about stuff. And you're like, I don't know. Like some people, and they'll never admit it either. And I just don't, what am I supposed to do for you at this point? You know what I'm saying? I can't just keep trying to nail into your head like, oh, you a negative person. Like, just saying that to somebody, they don't even understand it. They can't comprehend it. They'll just deny it or something. I just don't get it. I'm digressing from the point here. Okay, so let me just get back on track. When my friend tells me he feels his ex was always negative, his now ex, he also continued by mentioning this. He feels all women are naturally negative. Why are they drawn to this? Why are they drawn to negativity? That's what he was questioning me about. Now, when he says he feels all women are naturally negative, I don't really agree with that. Maybe it's the women he's choosing to be with. But here's what I'll also say. Last video was a great example about what I'm going to share right now. I feel like since social media became the dominant way to communicate, it feels like it's turned into a platform for people to rant all day long. Think about it. This video right here, this video is basically a rant and an analysis at the same time, right? I'm expressing my thoughts and breaking it down. It's still a form of venting. The thing is, social media has become the primary and sometimes the only outlet people use to process their emotions, their stress, and their frustrations. This being the norm means that instead of expressing themselves in a more personal, balanced, or even private ways, people are now using these platforms as their emotional dumping ground. This is why some of y'all ask why I don't use Twitter. Like, why don't I have a Twitter account to tweet about stuff? I delete my Twitter I didn't delete it. I just haven't posted on like 6 years, bro. Because I always say Twitter's just people complaining all day. Like, I just don't want to do that. And I don't find that to be bad per se. If you want to express yourself, right? Everyone should be allowed to express yourself. I'm not saying it's bad per se, but that changes things because social media has become the norm for that. It creates this environment where negativity can feel amplified because people aren't just venting occasionally. They're doing it constantly for other people on the internet. It's like a TV show sometimes because this has become so normalized. I think it translated into real life too. When people communicate face to face, over the phone, or however, they start treating the person they're talking to like they're another emotional dumping ground. It's like they're carrying the same mindset from social media into real life interactions, venting without considering whether that person is in the right headspace to receive all of that. Does this make sense? I'm gonna say that one more time. People be venting, ranting, and not considering whether the other person is in the right headspace to receive all of that. That's different from like a video right now. You could pause this video or stop watching whenever you want, right? Maybe I'm too much for your headspace right now. I'm not forcing you to listen to this, but it's different when someone's talking to you right now, right? When you're in a commitment with somebody. Yo, here, let me get to this. The issue is the dynamic can feel very one-sided and draining, especially when the person venting doesn't realize they're doing it or how much they're unloading. It's not a real conversation at that point. It's just one person offloading their stress while the other person is left to absorb it. And honestly, I think a lot of people don't realize they're doing this because it's become so normal. They've been conditioned by social media to believe that constant venting is just how people connect now, when in reality, it can strain relationships. So when the study mentions women tend to look for comfort when they share negative information, this is what I meant earlier about how I struggle to process it often. And many other men struggle with this as well. It's not that we have an issue with you as a person or that we don't support you. It's not that. It's just that when there's so much emotional baggage to unload, it's not always something we're mentally ready to handle. And I have something to say because I think this is unfair when women say this about men. Y'all complain about men not being sensitive or soft enough for your feelings or your emotion, right? We don't listen to y'all. Well, here's something that you should be more sensitive about. You have to remember, we're human beings as well. We've got our own stresses, our own struggles, and things we're trying to manage in our own lives. So when someone brings a lot of negativity to us, even if it's for the need for comfort, it can feel very overwhelming to us, especially if we're already carrying a mental load ourselves. It's not a lack of care. It's not that we don't care for y'all. It's more about capacity. Sometimes we just don't have the emotional bandwidth to take all this information in at the same moment. And it's not easy to communicate with that, y'all. With anybody. It's not easy to communicate that without sounding dismissive. I care about you. I care what's going on. I just can't take it right now. The thing is, many men are taught either directly or indirectly that they have to fix problems, right? So when someone shares negativity or seeks comfort, we're automatically thinking, how do I solve this? And if it's something, or listen, and If you don't do that, I guess it's not manly, right? Because you're not here to fix problems. You're not being a man, right? You know what I'm saying? Even if it's something that can't easily be solved, it can feel frustrating or even helpless. And combine that with our own stress, and it can feel like we're being expected to shoulder everything at once, and it's exhausting. I think this is why many men struggle with these kind of interactions. It's not about a lack of empathy. It's about feeling emotionally overwhelmed. And honestly, I think a lot of us just aren't good at expressing that. Instead, we internalize it or avoid the situation altogether, which makes things worse. It's a cycle. And I think it's something both men and women need to be more mindful of when it comes to how we communicate and share our emotions with one another. What's worse is that if you try to point it out or set boundaries, it's easy for anyone to take it the wrong way. Like, again, you're dismissing their feelings or don't care. But that's not it. It's just that some of us aren't built to be that 24/7 emotional sponge. That may sound like an exaggeration, 24/7 sponge. You get what I mean. We're happy to support when it's needed, but not when it's constant and unbalanced. It's like people have forgotten that a healthy conversation involves both parties, not just one person unloading everything they're carrying. So no, I don't think all women are negative. Sure, the study finds women to be more negative than men, okay? Especially when they share information about themselves or other people. Very well, okay? But we also distinguish in that same study the prime motivation. So like myself, and I guess my friend here, you guys know me at least, right? You've seen my struggles. I'm very open about on this channel about my mental health and my own problems, right? It's difficult to comfort when I'm trying to survive as well, okay? I would still like love and affection, okay? I'm not saying I'm incapable of being in a relationship because, you know, I got a lot of things going on in my head, but sometimes people are too much. I hope this makes sense. What do you guys think? This episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. Nightmare 7 a.m. in the morning though. No surprise. Times Square's you and I under those lights. No disguise. Don't tell me everything you wanted was a lie. All those city lights, it's an endless night. Never expected you to bring me so much life. Close my eyes too long, then it's time to say goodbye. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Caution. Wait a moment, keep my heart locked away, it's filled with emotion. Gave the key to you, right in front of you is open. Hey, try your best to not leave it broken. Oh, it's been a while since you know it's frozen. Not the